What? I don't know. It stopped. Alright, I guess we'll just... Oh, wait, it's playing now. Okay.
Jerks call me stupid and gay, but I know a guy with a bearded baseball hat. If you say something mean, he'll ban you like that. I'm a kitty cat, and I'm that music review guy. And we're blocked by Steve Shives. Blocked by Steve Shives. Sometimes I tweet several times a day. People tweet me that they wish I'd get AIDS, but I never block those jerks. Sometimes I put them on mute, but do it to Steve Shives, and he'll give you your love.
Oh, hell yes. Hell
Nice.
yes. Sweet.
That's a classic right there.
Yep. I love that video.
Indeed.
So let me tell you guys a little bit about that, okay? There's a few things I'd like to say about it, and I urge those who haven't seen it, who are watching, to watch the full, because it gets much more grandiose as it goes on. But here's the funny. There's a few funny things about it. First funny thing is that, like, one, I meant that to be part of a larger album, which would have been titled something to the effect of Creationist Cat sings songs about SJWs, anti-SJWs, feminists, MRAs, and other fart faces. I think that was the going title. So it was meant to be part of like this large, bunch of songs that poked fun at everybody on both sides of like the, kind of, if you will, like the feminist, anti-feminist debate. And the other thing that I want to say about this is that, like, there's some problems that I have with Steve Shives. The fact that he blocks people, though, I could not give a fuck, because he's not one of these people who kind of like, is like, I'll debate anybody, and then blocks everyone. He really just doesn't want to have anything to do with most people. And so I'm kind of like, that's fine. But one day I saw that I was blocked by him, and we had worked in the past, and I was like, I can't believe this. So I wasn't really like, I was writing the song not really to like diss him, but to more kind of like talk about the phenomena of people who just complain like crazy about the fact that he blocks everybody. But the funny thing is that literally, like 2 days before I released that video, he must have had me blocked because of some like block bot or some sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, machine that just automatically blocks people. And so 2 days before that came out, I was unblocked by Steve Shives.
Really?
And so when I released it, I kind of felt like more like a dick because I wasn't actually blocked by Steve Shives. And,
wow.
And he still, to his credit, that came out. He has not blocked me, perhaps because he didn't want to give me the satisfaction. I've heard that people of mine who happen to be friends with him, I've heard him be like, man, fuck that guy, you know?
Wow.
And I sort of understand it because we did collaborate
Sure.
on some stuff together, and I could go on about it, but yeah, I guess I'd just like to say I get why some people have certain problems with him, but he's been made into this like monolithic demon of like SJWism, and he's become like one of the most like parodied people in the like you know, kind of anti-SJW sphere. And I think it's pretty ridiculous because I don't know, it's just like I think that there are more important things to be talking about than what Steve Shives is up to.
Yeah,
And,
it really is
you know,
beating a dead horse.
yeah.
Yeah, but you
I
know,
enjoyed making that video, and I still, I still, you know, I'm not making excuses for it. I dig it. How are you guys doing, anyhow?
oh, I'm good. I'm just yeah, the video lagging, it just kind of put me on the edge. So I'm just looking at everything like, is my computer okay? What's going on? But other than that, I'm good.
We're a professional show here. We're a professional show, but you know,
Yeah.
the show goes on regardless. You know, we're gonna entertain the people the best we can.
I'm smoking these disgusting cigars, by the way, because I recently collaborated with CC on a video that that I was in with both Matt Dillahunty and Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you guys have the chance to see that, but I recommended it. It's one of my recent favorites.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
And in it, I smoke a bong, and I didn't have actually any weed. So I went out and I got some like a black and mild cigar and smoked that instead, and it was absolutely disgusting. But for some reason, it's given me like I guess it's nicotine addiction, you know, at like the tender age of 29, which I may or may not be. I've smoked cigarettes before, and it's always been like I could not smoke another one. But now all of a sudden, I am smoking these disgusting cigars that I really don't enjoy, yet I have the craving for them. So if anybody was wondering why is he doing this, that's why. And I'm going to stop soon, I swear.
That's kind of like me and Chinese food, because like I've been buying fucking like what do you call those roll things with
egg
like
rolls? Or
no, not
spring
egg
roll?
rolls, spring rolls.
Yeah,
I've been buying those, and every time I fucking eat them, I get severe stomach aches and I feel sick, but I keep eating them because they're just so fucking good. So I think we all have vices like that in our lives.
I agree.
Yeah, usually when I get a spring roll, what I do is that I just take out all the contents, because I don't eat pork for the most part, and there's usually some other stuff in there that's kind of like I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's just, you know, it's just the fried part is what makes it tasty, you know. So they should just sell like the fried shells, which would probably make you feel just as sick. But that's my advice. If there's any Chinese, Chinese restaurants watching, my advice to you guys.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is up with them. Maybe there's like a rat in the fryer or some shit. Anyway, we're gonna be covering two people on Twitter. Which brings us to the first little segment we have. Let's see.
Okay.
So this one is called, hold on, let me relocate Vadim. There you go. So this segment is called Twitter Twats. It's basically just us responding to people on Twitter, watching Twitter videos and all that shit.
Warcorpse certainly is a twat.
Yeah, and it, more so than I initially thought. So this is going to be a quick recap on what's going on before we jump into the video we're going to cover by him. I was going to debate Warcorpse, and this is kind of like the context for how that came to be. So, Warcorpse responded to somebody on the topic of capitalism. Now, as you can tell, his grammar is not the best, so his response had something to do with capitalism and compassion or empathy, to which I responded, are you saying that capital...
Can you read the I didn't...
Alright, sure. He says, yeah, humans are not cooperative animals. To some extent, I think we are, but whatever. Maybe if there was a god, we would be, but there's not. So we obey the law of the jungle, and capitalism best fits that law, while affording compassion.
Such poorly written. Such a poorly written tweet.
Oh yeah, every sentence he writes, and he's written like 3 books, they just continuously go on until the page until there's like a limit, like you can't write anymore. The same thing applies on Twitter. Anyway, so I basically just ask him, like, are you saying this? Like, you know, implying, like, can you elaborate? Can you explain this?
Right.
Seems pretty reasonable. Seems okay. You know, there's no, like, pettiness to it. There's nothing negative, really. I'm just asking a question, and this is his response. All caps, of course. So I'm gonna do my best to read this, so just bear with me.
Good luck.
Of course it fucking does, but you're such an autistic retard that you seem to think that what I say should apply to every fucking situation. You know, you're the other one that I want another go at. Can you shred me again? So he's referring to a debate I had with him back in 2017.
Well, you were asking with that perfectly reasonable question and all.
Yeah, we'll get more into this later, but he's basically saying that, at least what I can infer from this is that he's saying that I take things he says, or he said in the past, and I compare them to things he's saying in the present, and I'm pointing out inconsistencies. I didn't do that, but it seems like that is his impression, and we'll get more into that later.
Yeah, this sort of thing happens to me on Twitter all the time. Even with people who are somewhat reasonable. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that he definitely flipped out there pretty bad, but Twitter's a weird place. Like you can say something to semi-reasonable people that is, you know, very polite and shouldn't come off the least bit intimidating, and people will flip the fuck out. Some, you know, it's some of it is to do with the fact that they're just like, you know, sort of snowflake-ish and can't handle criticism. But then some of it just has to do with people just misreading, you know, just tweets. Anyway,
yeah, or somebody just like had a shitty day and, you know.
Yep, that too, sure.
But I responded by saying, and this is like where like my snarkiness comes out, but whatever, you know. I said, seems like I pinched a nerve there, Corpsey. I had no idea asking you to clarify your terribly written statement would get this kind of reaction out of you, but hey, I don't mind. I'll debate you. Hit me up in direct message and we'll set up a time and date.
Oh, man.
And this was the beginning. And we're halfway through the Twitter context, so just, like, hold on. He said, well, Sweg, that was the crux of our last debate. Wait. That was the crux of our last debate, was you pointing out where... Fuck it. He's basically saying that, he's basically saying that, like, oh, you point out things that I said in the past and compare them to what I say now, and you're pointing out inconsistencies, so that's annoying. But hey, I'll take you on. Mm-hmm. So he accepts it. And let's see. Okay, so here's my response to that. I'm honestly trying to understand what you're saying, but it's hard when you never apply proper grammar. But sure, I'll gladly take you on, war bitch. And this is something that I didn't see. He said, and this is in response to one of my older responses, like not this one, but the first one I made. So I didn't see this, but he said, let's say on capitalism versus socialism. And this is actually something that goes back to.
And I take it you're not you wouldn't consider yourself a strict socialist.
Or not at all.
Okay.
Like I don't fall anywhere on. Yeah, I don't have any like leaning towards socialism or any direction really. I'm more of a centrist in that regard, but even, you know, that I don't know. I'm just kind of outside of that. But he said, let's debate capitalism versus socialism. Now, this actually goes back to 2017, because back then, he wanted to debate me on this very topic. And I, you know, ended up debating him on things he had said and done, and, you know, it was kind of like a drama debate instead. So I didn't see this. I never said yes or no to this. But what I did do was send this tweet to that tweet. So he inferred that I said yes to debating capitalism versus socialism. So that's kind of like the context for this. What happened was that, we talked via private messages on Twitter. I told him, hey, I'll add you on Discord, and I'll let you know what I have in mind for this debate. And so I did. The very first message I sent to him on Discord is, to summarize it, I basically say, like, I have no interest in debating socialism with you, or capitalism. What I want to talk about are things you've said, and, the opinions you have, and, we can kind of just have a back and forth on that. And, you're welcome to bring up anything you take issue with that I've said. He had no interest in this at all. What he immediately said was, I don't want to debate anything that I've been outspoken on YouTube or Twitter. Like, anything that he has said on YouTube or Twitter, he doesn't want to talk about it. And eventually I get him to kind of like half compromise. He says, okay, you can talk about things I've said, but it has to be within the past 6 months. And I ask him why, and he tells me, oh, it's because that's how long I've had my new YouTube channel, because his previous one got taken down, so he's just kind of like limiting it how far back I can go. I'm not willing to do that. I want to have an honest discussion about things that he has said. And so he called it off. Actually, what he did was he faked technical issues on Discord.
Oh my god, that was ridiculous.
It was. He pretended as though Discord had begun randomly putting numbers into his text. So it was kind of like the Discord text equivalent of crackling a bag of chips next to, your phone as you're talking to somebody.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm breaking up.
yeah, what he said was like, oh, he responded to what I said, and then he randomly began typing in numbers, and he's like, oh, looks like Discord is doing this, so I guess it's off, bye.
Yeah, we also offered him to take it to the next level, where it could be on the altered perspective or on a drunken peasants episode.
Right.
But I don't think he ever got back to you about that, did he, Swag?
Nope.
That guy is he's such a horrible human being, yet at the same time, I mean, he comes across that way, yet at the same time, I feel so bad for him. Like he's kind of like a human box, a bag of pork rinds, I mean,
he looks like one too.
Well, yes, and he's so ill-equipped for like real debate, and I don't know, like he certainly deserves a lot of shit for the things that he says, yet at the same time, I almost feel like, oh, maybe we should just leave this guy alone, because he's a little special.
Warcorpse looks like he just spent like 3 years in the mountains, basically.
Oh my god, yeah, his beard is like something out of, like, I don't know, like Lord of the Rings or some shit now.
What the fuck? If only some of that hair could go up, could go north a little bit.
It's switching places.
Yeah, not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
he looks like a Nordic god who's really let himself go.
Yeah.
It's actually funny because he actually compares himself to Vikings a lot.
Mm.
Oh,
anyway,
is he into that whole race realism shit, or like I don't know everything about him.
I have no idea. I mean,
I've never seen anything to suggest that.
Okay,
I'm not gonna speak on that because I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to straw man the guy, but I was just gonna say that if he seems like he might be, just because he has so many shitty opinions. That's really the only reason. Like, I've never heard him actually make a very racist argument, so that very well may not be the case. But I'm just saying, like if that is the case, like I love these race realists who are, who talk about like the white man being superior, and they're just like the absolute worst examples of humanity that you could possibly come across. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Dude, you know what it is? It's kind of like when you see like a really fucking ugly Nazi, and it's like this person actually thinks that they have the superior genetics, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
kind of like,
it is
you
a
know,
little like that.
it doesn't fucking work. It doesn't. But anyway, this video, now he uploaded this video of him being very dishonest about what had happened, and we're gonna cover that. But the original video was actually like 15 minutes long, and I was like, fuck that. I'm gonna cut this down to, you know, like just feature the bits where he actually, you know, says something, because this guy is very long-winded. So,
by the way, I just want to say real quickly, I know this is a non sequitur, but to Mr. Bill Hicks, if you have information linking Evan Lefevre to 9/11, please DM me on Twitter. I'd love to read that over and perhaps use it against him in our debate, which may or may not happen at some point in the future.
That'd be awesome.
So let's go on. Sorry to interrupt. I just saw that in the chat and wanted to address Mr. Hicks.
alright, fair enough. This video, this is my edit of the video. Now, for anybody, say some of his sycophants or some shit like that, you know, like if you don't trust my take on this video as far as my edit goes, you can go back and watch the original one on his channel, and you'll see that I didn't cut out any points he made. The things I cut out were him repeating himself or going on some kind of unrelated tangent.
Which he does a lot.
Yeah. So, like I said, this video was initially 15 minutes long. This one is 10 minutes. I don't know if we're gonna cover the whole thing, but hopefully it's gonna be a quick-paced kind of thing so we get it out of the way.
He ain't getting more than 10 minutes of our time.
Is he wearing like a Yoshi shirt? Like what is
it's
the
a
shirt?
Mario
Mario
shirt.
Yoshi. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
How's it going? This is just gonna be a real quick video.
You gotta love that, because the original was 15 minutes long.
I was supposed to debate
video.
SWEGTA today at noon. That debate is not going to happen. He'll have a video on his channel explaining his side of things. This is mine. I'm sure in his video he'll probably call me the biggest pussy piece of shit that's afraid of things that I've said, or, you know, being afraid to be proven wrong.
No, I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna call you dishonest, and we'll get to that in a second.
That's not what happened. Here's the thing. I was under the assumption that we were going to be debating socialism versus capitalism.
Even though I never...
Swag-and-fly that.
Yeah, I never agreed to that. You presumed that I had agreed to that because I said, okay, I'll debate you. But I never responded specifically to that tweet. Now granted, you know, that could be a case of miscommunication. That's fine. But to say that, you know, like, I accepted those terms, I mean, like, that's just not true.
And I found out today, in my Discord, that it would basically be like the first debate between me and him, which I think is on his channel. Because mine was on the Warcorpse 666 channel. And it would be like that, where that was an entirely different situation. I mean, met a few conditions, and I agreed to basically let him grill me.
No, actually, I challenged you to the debate, and you said, the way you phrased it, and this is verbatim, you said it would be a fucking slaughter. Gloves off, no holds barred. And you came in like a real fucking softie. Like the most timid, weak-minded fucking person ever. And as soon as I pressed you on anything you had said, you either denied saying it and I had to offer you context and point out which video you had said it in, or, you know, you just admitted fault.
I think people should be able to defend themselves in a live format, and, you know, actually be accountable. You know, it's one thing to do video responses back and forth, but to collect like your thoughts properly and explain something in a debate with someone live takes, you know, it takes a bit more than just making a video saying, here's my side and why I think I'm right, where you don't have to listen to anyone or be challenged on anything you say.
Give me on anything he wanted. Okay? And he wanted to do that all over again. And I was basically, no, we're supposed to be debating an idea. If you don't want to debate socialism and capitalism, let's pick another idea. But I'm not going to sit here and defend every opinion I've ever given on everything.
That is not what I asked. That is definitely not what I asked of you. I gave you, I don't know, 4 or 5 topics. That was it. 4 or 5 topics within a 60-minute debate. Seems fair to me.
Because I don't remember the exact context of why I supposedly came to 2 different hypocritical opinions. 1,000 things can be different that would make me change my opinion. Like, I'll give you an example. If on Monday there's a story of a feminist shooting a guy wearing a fucking MGTOW shirt in the leg, and that's all that's in the story, well, my opinion is that she should go to jail. If, however, more information comes out on Tuesday, and the guy was charging her, and she shot him in the leg, okay, was this an accident? Did he really pose a threat? How far away was he? Maybe she was in the right. Let's say on Wednesday, more information comes out, and he was charging at her, and he had a fucking bat. Okay.
Damn, this is the slimmed down version.
No, this is my edit.
You need to take a screenshot. That's a pretty classic Warcorpse.
Oh yeah,
frame right there.
I'll do it.
Beautiful.
Looks like
I'm gonna make this the thumbnail of this video as I upload it to my channel. I'm sorry, what?
I said it looks like he's just what it looks like. Looks like he's kind of like gobbling an imaginary dick there.
Yeah, just like, you know, massaging the tip.
Now, she's completely in the right to defend herself. Sorry, that's how things can change.
I'm sure he has experience with that.
I mean, like, the thing is, I get the point he's making, but it doesn't apply. I never wanted to bring up something you said in the past and then compare it to something you said later. What I wanted to bring up were points you had made in the past, and solely that. You said something fucking idiotic, and I wanted to grill you on it.
Yeah, and here's the thing: if he disagreed, you know, if you brought up some things that he said in the past and he disagreed with them, like, and he owned up to it, then that would be perfectly fine. So why is he afraid to either defend the positions that he had in the past that he agrees with, or own up to mistakes that he's made? You know, can't someone who's like, you know, a big man do that type of shit? Admit your faults.
Because what he does is he fucking takes on low-hanging fruit, easy people to debate. And I fucking destroyed him in the previous debate. So he knew going into this, on a topic that he's not confident on a topic such as, say, capitalism versus socialism, he knew that I would fucking destroy him.
Fellas, one real quick thing. I just ashed in my coffee by mistake. So I should go refresh this cup because I need to caffeinate my brain a little bit more.
Sure.
I'm not wearing any pants. I wasn't expecting to actually stand up on camera. So get your mind out of the gutter, motherfuckers. Don't you no, it's fine. It's fine. You guys can pleasure yourselves to my pasty white thighs if you'd like. All right, here I go. I'll be back.
Wow.
Yeah, that was for our eyes only.
It was for our eyes only. You the viewers don't get to see that.
Yeah, I think we'll continue covering this until Vadim gets back, because it is a 10-minute video, so...
Yeah.
So sometimes I just plainly change my mind. We started going back and forth, and I'm basically saying, look, if you want to debate an idea, that's fine. I don't want to have any... Because what's going to happen is you're going to ask me a question, and I'm going to say, look, I can't give you an answer of why I thought that at that specific time.
Doesn't that tell you a lot about yourself?
Yeah, you can't answer someone's question.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you said this in the past, and he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, what the fuck does that say about you?
Oh, you know, I don't know.
Do you just continuously spew a bunch of lines that you have no basis in spewing?
Man.
So he just makes random points for the sake of making them, or what?
Well,
Because I
yeah,
don't
why
fuck-
not?
God damn.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Hope you guys didn't miss me too much.
Welcome back, man.
I'm sure Pseudo Memes, who's asking me to be kicked right now, does. Suck it. You can suck it. You got a choice. You can suck this one right here, or this one right here, or both of them. There you go, Pseudo Memes.
Your pickings.
That's the ultimatum.
Yeah,
that you
your
got.
pick, man.
Keep
Oh yeah,
remember-
speaking of picks, I just want to mention this real fast. We have a poll in a link below. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you prefer Bully or GTA? Because that's appropriate. I figured that was appropriate considering one of Sweg's new video topics.
Yeah, I uploaded a video called "Bully is better than GTA," so that's gonna piss a lot of people off.
So cast your vote below.
What
Yeah,
is Bully?
It is this. It's a game made by Rockstar, who made GTA as well. It's kind of like a school-themed GTA, but I found it to be better because of several arguments I provided in the video I made.
Everything
Okay.
Alright, let's see.
that led into it. I also don't remember if I was saying something for shock value. I don't remember if I was saying something as a joke. I don't remember, because like when I say,
How do you
I give
not
these-
remember that?
And also, can't you tell the difference if I bring up something you've said? If it's something that's obviously intended as a joke, and to imply that I would take something you said as a joke and present it to you as if you said it in seriousness, I mean, like, that's just, come the fuck on. Why would I do that? Like, do you think that I'm that dishonest?
horrific, torturous punishments. Believe it or not, I actually don't want us to actually do it in about 95% of the cases. And so I said, what topics are you going to bring up with me? What questions are you going to what videos? And he said, he got into how, there's topics that I talk about that I should just shut my fucking mouth on. And I said, well, what topics? And he brought up, there was 5 of them. One was, there was autism, Antifa,
Jesus.
doxing.
He has no stream of conscience.
Yeah, it's like, no wonder you fucking fear talking to me or about topics you've brought up in the past. It seems to me like you lack the ability to, you basically have the memory of a fucking goldfish. Like, when I really think about it now, it seems to me like you lack the ability to recall things you've said in the past.
I
And
know.
he's made so many videos where it's like he's full of rage and he's all animated and shit. It's like, you'd think
Yeah.
that he would remember these topics that he's so passionate about.
Well, quote unquote animated. Like, he really just bounces around a little bit and, shakes around. Like, that's why people called him TJ's botched clone, because he just tries to be TJ, but all I can do is kind of like jiggle around a little bit. Doesn't go all the way.
There was the nostalgia check.
Oh God, Lindsay
And,
Ellis.
Antifa, doxing, and, what the fuck was the third one? And, trans. And I
Trans.
wrote back, like, okay, how about those 3 topics? I'm happy to defend anything I've said on them.
3? No, those were 5.
Yeah, and he just said that in literally 2 sentences ago too. How does he? Yeah, so he must have the memory of a goldfish, truly.
I rest my case.
I've been pretty consistent with Antifa. I'm pretty consistent when it comes to doxing. I believe I've defended, publicly I've said, that it was wrong that Anita Sarkeesian got doxed. It was wrong that Zoquin got doxed, or anybody else that I hate.
That is not what I wanted to talk about when it came to doxing. And you would have known that had you actually talked to me about this and asked me about, specifically, what do you want to talk about? What is this point you want to make?
Yeah, like I said, it's easy to strawman someone in a one-sided video where you push your narrative and you're like, well, you make your video with your narrative. It's like if we were just both saying what we both think, then then nothing's gonna get accomplished here. Like, no one's mind is ever like. When you have that type of debate, it's very rare that someone's mind will be changed at all anyway. But at least there's a chance. At least there's a chance of getting something accomplished. What's the point of putting our ideas out there and pitting them against each other if we're not going to try and, make an impression on people? At least that's why I do it, and that's why I imagine most people do it.
I do it for shits and giggles.
I don't want to see him doxing their personal information out there. I've been pretty consistent on Antifa. Now, trans is a little different because, again, that's a little more situational.
You know, it doesn't have to do with you being consistent on topics. It has to... It's about you being wrong. That's what it's about. You said something that I found to be incorrect, so I wanted to correct you on that in a debate. And that's what I clearly fucking told you. But instead of just talking to me about this, you went ahead and made this video. And now I have your fucking sycophants on my case. So thanks a fucking lot.
Depends on what you're talking about. Do I think...
Yeah. That's kind of a thing that, it's kind of interesting too, and this is not me appealing to popularity. This is just like a fun piece of trivia about this.
Mm-hmm.
During our last debate, he had 5,600 subs. Now he has about 700 or 800 because he kept picking fights with people who were known for flagging and filing false DMCAs.
I can't even find his main channel when I look up Warcorpse on.
Yeah, and when I asked him, like, hey, what is your channel? He's like, you know what my channel is. It's like, no, I genuinely fucking don't, because they keep getting taken down. But,
yeah, that's a great way to get your channel out there by saying, you should just know my channel.
But it's kind of interesting how, like, he went from that to back to a few hundred. And since our last debate, a year or two ago, I now have 10 times as many subs as he had back then. It's just kind of, like, interesting. How does that make you feel, honestly?
Like, here's the thing. It's because, like, the videos that he makes, like, negativity usually does drive a lot of views, but he doesn't present himself in an interesting enough way that it's provocative enough to gain that crowd of people. So he really just gets, like, the people who have nothing else to do with their time, nothing better to watch at that time, because pretty much everyone who watches him, I guarantee you, is already subscribed by people who do it better. You know what I mean? And you do things more about, like, a game, like, it's a niche community, but it's something that people are really passionate about, something that people really love, so it's easy for people to get behind that and support it and, just give it views because it's something.
Yeah, I mean, like, his audience right now consists of, like, 75% trolls and 25%, like, a few people from his old channel that somehow managed to find his new one. Like, his 8th fucking channel this year.
Maybe trans people should compete in their assigned gender in a sport like polo versus...
That is not what I want to... I have to repeat myself. I seriously have to repeat myself because he keeps presuming what I wanted to talk about. It's like, how about you just ask me? Or how about you, what is the word? How about you remained in the call or, like, in the text chat until I could convey that to you and actually explain specifically, like, here's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, he dismissed you so quickly and now he's making all these assumptions. He's trying to fill in the blanks, basically, because he wasn't willing to sit there and, like, let you give him the information. So now he thinks it's okay for him to just imagine what you would say.
And it's kind of funny how, like, instead of just, disconnect, like, he faked, and this is, I can't prove this, but I think that he faked technical difficulties with his keyboard to get out of the debate. But
yeah,
if your keyboard really had issues, how about you, like, disconnect it and call me and explain, and we talk. Because, like, shortly after he got off Discord, he made this video and uploaded it. So it's like, okay, it seems to be fine now.
Spend this time talking with you in a private call or whatever.
Yeah, and this video just gets way more dishonest.
Or golf versus, I would have a completely different opinion when you're talking about, like, Fallon Fox. She's an MMA fighter, completely different. There's 1,000 things that make up basically what people like me do, which is basically opinion givers, commentators.
Man, this guy's voice is grating.
Their opinion.
Yeah. Fun fact, the audio was so low, like the volume of the audio on his video was so low that I had to manually adjust it, like bit by bit, because sometimes he gets loud, I have to lower the volume, when he gets quiet I have to up it. So editing this was a total bitch. And your audience will back me up on that. A lot of, maybe not a lot of people. I mean, like, you got, like, what, 100 views on that video, but, you know, like, at least one person was like, I can't hear shit. Maybe you want to fix that. I don't know.
In one way or the other. And to ask me to defend everything I fucking said.
That's not what I wanted
so
you
we
to
go
do.
along with this discussion, and, you know, we
He's
kind
made
of
that
get
assumption
into,
several times now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
well, you know,
He makes it a few more times, but I edited it. I removed those parts of the video to save time.
he's like, well, you seem to sway a lot. Well, yeah, I sway all the time. Again, I look at the information that's provided to me, and I go, this is what I think. So then I got into, well, you know, a lot of the principles that we have and blah, blah, blah are based upon, one is facts, but two is personal opinion. I got into a debate with Dark.
God, just get to the fucking point.
It got down to an opinion of when the cutoff point for an abortion.
How long is this video?
This one is 10 minutes long. The original is 15.
And how much have we watched?
Good God, we are 6 minutes in, so.
I really don't want to watch the.
Yeah, I swear I can't take 4 more minutes.
All right, tell you what. We'll skip ahead a minute or so.
All right.
How about that? Is that cool?
Let's check out the juicy bit at the end, if there is one.
Let's see.
Oh, you know, I even said, you want to postpone and give me a list of what you want to, because I gotta have time to autism. I've talked about her for same thing as Anita's are completely, you know, different, reasonable. I'm way more low key. You're getting the real me. You're getting the real me a little bit more now because this is a, you know, but
man, this guy just needs to go.
Yeah.
Shouldn't this guy be getting ready for Christmas? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's this fucking deal?
We're talking about a video. Yeah, I'm over the fucking top. Because, big shock, I'm trying to entertain people.
You don't seem to be doing a good job at it, considering your audience.
So, you know, he wanted to go way too broad. Again, I think it was just
5 topics.
he just wanted an out. That's all I said. Let's just limit what we can talk about in this fucking debate. Or I guess I'm happy to defend what I've said on this channel, but I'm not going to defend everything I've said in over 4,000 videos.
Oh my fucking god!
Or however many I've made on this channel over the years.
This guy is like, he's like a living ambien pill. That's what he is to me.
He
Like,
is.
Jesus fucking Christ. Like, he's literally one of the worst people that I've had to fucking sit through a video of, period.
Dude, you'd think that a guy named Warcorpse would be at least interesting.
Yeah, you
Like, at
think that
least
he would have, like, some, like, you think they would have some, like, crazy out there opinions, but, like, in reality, his opinions are really cookie cutter. Like, in the group of people, like, that he affiliates with or, like, tries to be like.
No, you know what? It's not even that. It's the fact that he has so many opinions that are out there, but he's so fucking. You're right. He's like an ambien pill. Like it's
bland.
The approach to his video style is just like so sedated and fucking dull. But anyway,
It's
we have
bland
about,
and slow. And
we have about like 40 seconds left. He's gonna make some stupid point that I really want to get to.
Unreasonable for me to remember what the fuck led to said opinion. But what do you guys think? Was I being unreasonable in asking him to,
yes.
hey, let's narrow this down a little bit?
Yeah, see, this is where he begins to appeal to his audience, and this is something that just made me lose even the smidgen of a modicum of respect I had for him.
Even if you want to go after what I said, okay, let's pick some fucking topics or one channel. Fuck. Apparently never let new thinking affect your opinions that you hold. Sorry, I'm open-minded.
Is that what you wanted to discuss?
No. He goes on. He goes on.
It's like, what do you guys think? Do you think I'm...
Wait, hold on.
I can't believe he said that fucking twice.
No, just...
Sorry, I'm open-minded, SWEGTA.
See, that's the point I fucking hate. Sorry I'm open-minded, SWEGTA. What do you guys think?
Oh, okay.
Am I being too reasonable? What do you guys think, audience? You know, I want to narrow this down to just a few topics. I gave you 5 fucking topics. I wanted to
If you were
talk about things
reasonable.
you've said in the past, and I wanted to press you on things you've espoused. That was it. I never once claimed that I wanted to debate you on every single fucking thing you've ever said. And you backed out of it by faking some kind of technical issue that you know was bullshit.
He gargled those chips, man.
And you know what? He did that immediately, as soon as I began questioning why he didn't want to debate the things he said in the past.
What do you guys think? Do you think I was being unreasonable or not for
Yes,
wanting
I
the
do.
debate to focus
I think
on
this whole video is
set
unreasonable.
specific
I think
number
this
of
is
topics
one of the worst experiences.
versus being grilled about any.
Fuck you, Warcorpse. You're
Whoa.
It's horrible. This is horrible. Like, I don't know. Maybe Swag wants to be more professional, but I don't give a shit. Fuck this guy.
Yeah, fuck him.
I say we just move on. We'll just,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
Swag-
I'm sorry for putting you
let him-
both. I'm sorry for putting you both through this, but I just.
have nothing to say about this guy other than he, you know, I wish him well in his battle against the orcs. You know, I mean that's really that's the only thing I can say. Next topic, please.
All right, I'll leave it up
So,
to you guys to decide. So we have a few videos we could discuss. So first off, we have a very suspicious
Probably get-
woman climbing in strange way Sajivani Hospital.
Oh no! You know what you should play? You know what we should do? You have the Kentucky meat shower article up?
Oh, okay. We'll do that. Hold on.
Yeah, let's do the Kentucky meat shower because I wanted to tell this article on the show for a while.
I'm reluctant to do it because it sounds fucking disgusting, but let's do
It is.
All right. So, how'd you find this?
How'd I find this?
Yeah.
Well, we were going to do a segment for the Altered Perspective, where we talked about just random like urban myths or mysteries or like phenomenons that were unexplained. We're gonna call it Uncharted Waters, but we never did it, so we're just gonna start doing it on this channel because I think it was a good idea. So, I'll have you read this because I want to get your reaction in real time about it. Like as someone who's never read this before, you can go ahead and read pretty much the whole thing. It's pretty interesting.
The whole thing, it's quite lengthy, but
Read the first two paragraphs then.
okay.
The Kentucky meat shower was an incident occurring for a period of several minutes on March 3rd, 1876, where what appeared to be flakes of red meat fell from the sky in a 100 by 50 yard, that's such a specific measurement,
Yeah.
Yeah.
91 by 46 meters area near the settlement of Rankin in Bath County, Kentucky. Most of the pieces were approximately 5 centimeters. Again, just amazing that like after well over a century, they have such precise measurements. 5 centimeters square. At least one was 10 centimeters, 3.9 inches square. The phenomenon was reported by Scientific American, the New York Times, and several of other publications at the time. Whoa, that the Scientific American back in the day apparently wasn't as stringent with its stories as it is today. The meat appeared to be beef, but according to yes, you're right. This is absolutely horridly disgusting. But according to the report in Scientific American, 2 gentlemen who tasted it. Who the fuck would taste that? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope they at least cooked it first. Tasted it, judged it to be mutton or venison.
Did they fucking get like? Did they fucking get like
this is
Steve-O
real.
and
Yeah,
Johnny
Ellen,
Knoxville to taste it?
This is on Wikipedia.
I mean, because that just sounds like beef Wellington.
No, this is real.
Like somebody just like
This is real. This is real.
A local hunter identified it as bear meat.
Oh.
Identified the substance as nosta, a genus of a word I'm not even going to try and pronounce. Cyanobacteria. I think that's it. Brandeis passed the meat sample to the Newark Scientific Association for further analysis. By that time, I'm sure it was just maggot-ridden. leading to a letter from Dr. Alan McLean Hamilton appearing in the medical record and stating the meat had been identified as lung tissue from either a horse or a human infant. What the fuck? The structure of the organ in these, I mean, this is, I'm surprised a horror movie has.
And somebody ate this?
The structure of the organ in these two cases being almost identical. The makeup of this sample was backed up by further analysis, with 2 samples of the meat being identified as lung tissue, 3 as muscle, and 2 as cartilage. All right, is that the whole thing, or is there more to it?
I mean, there's more, I guess.
Well, we might as
well.
Brandeis nostoc theory relied on the fact that nostoc swells into a translucent jelly-like mass when rain falls on it, often giving the impression that it was falling with the rain. Charles Fort pointed out in his first book, The Book of the Damned, that there has been no rain. Locals favored the explanation that the meat was vomited up by buzzards who, as is their custom, seeing one of their companions disgorge himself, immediately followed suit. Dr. L.D. Castenbein presented the theory in the Louisville Medical News as the best explanation of the variety of meat. I assume that's the case.
Yeah.
Vultures vomit as part of making a quick escape and also as a defense mechanism when threatened.
So it could have been vulture puke.
The flattened, dry appearance of the meat chunks as the result of pressure, and noted that 9 days later on, March 12, 1876, red corpuscles with a vegetable appearance fell over London. So either it was a bunch of buzzards or like Zeus just vomited. Like that's. I think those are the only 2 likely explanations.
I suppose so.
We should probably
it's called
cover the Butch Hartman
shower. When that first came up, I thought it was going to be like some disgusting sex act that
everyone says
me
that.
Too.
Everyone says that they think that would probably be some type of sex act, but no, it was an event.
Yeah.
But
sounds like
so,
kind of like a dirty Sanchez, or like one of those horrible things.
Yeah.
A donkey punch. Which
I kind of like half expected some kind of like, I don't know, some strange fetish, like a prolapse fetish or something like that.
Oh no. Let's not go down that route, please.
I mean, come on, the name, you know?
I know.
Anyway, so, Butch Hartman. We have 2 videos.
Okay. Is my mic better now?
Yes.
Holy shit.
It's much better now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let me know if it goes down, because that every now and I told you one of the kiddies, not CC. CC wouldn't do that. He's super intelligent and all.
Yeah.
Chewed the fucking microphone wire, and I have one coming in the mail, so it just shorts out every now and then. I apologize, but it's the cat's fault.
It's all right. So the video that I wanted you to play, we're not going to play the Oaxis Entertainment Kickstarter trailer just because I'd rather just tell you about that and play the other Butch Hartman one.
Isn't there also like a risk of him flagging us down if we do that?
No, because the edited video, actually you might be right about that, because in the other one I made is edited, and I made sure that it wouldn't get us copyright claimed or anything.
Okay.
So yeah. I'll just give you like a brief background about it. Basically, this Butch Hartman guy, he made like these shows on Nickelodeon, like The Fairly Odd Parents and Danny Phantom, and eventually he became a YouTuber. He started his own Kickstarter to try and like make his own like Netflix style like service called Oaxis Entertainment. With the basically the gimmick is that it's more leaning towards like family friendly content, but basically people eventually found out that what he didn't tell people is that it's going to be like a Christian network, and he didn't tell anyone this because he basically said that he knows that a big part of his audience is secular, but and he wasn't transparent about it being a Christian network to them. He just said it was going to be family friendly. So a lot of people who don't like religion or are atheists or are secular or like LGBT or what that are like really pissed off about all of it. So here's a video of some of the more interesting things Butch Hartman has said.
Yeah, and this is after he raised all the money, so that's kind of like where the outrage is coming from.
One of these is before the money, but most of them are after.
Is it I'm starting a new network? Is that the one?
No, it's the other one. It's Butch Hartman didn't come from Iraq.
Okay. All right, let's see. There you go.
All right.
Kind of
let's
looks like a better in shape Charlie Sheen from this angle.
Teacher, where did I come from? Well, you came from this monkey or this rock or this lizard that evolved into you. Now, I don't know about you guys.
So it's the same thing we've heard a million times. It's like, okay, creationists mocking evolution, and in the process of doing so, doesn't really understand what the fuck evolution even is.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. And yeah.
there are, as far as
I don't know about you guys, but that sounds a little fishy to me.
Yeah, he didn't come from a rock, though. He didn't come from a rock.
He came from Iraq. I don't know, man. The thing with me in this is like, you're either A, misinformed, B, stupid, or C, you're just regurgitating the same mockery you've heard other people, do when it comes to evolution.
He regurgitates what his wife says, basically, as you'll see later in this video.
No, I'm just waiting for like a creationist to make an argument like, well, if evolution is real, how come we're not, haven't evolved into laser shooting robots by now? I mean, they have the most retarded.
One day that's gonna happen, according to Evan LaFavor.
Maybe we fucking will. I mean, like, we have pacemakers. People are getting robotic limbs and all kinds of shit.
It's true, transhumanism, all of that. Fuck. If that'll allow me to live another 100 or 200 years, depending on how horrible the world becomes, I'd probably be up for it.
I'm gonna become a robot and like do the eyeball scene from Terminator.
Again, I'm not, you can have your own beliefs out there, but I don't think my great-great-grandfather was a rock.
Figure this out.
You said you normally write your themes.
So this is some leaked audio from
It's actually this is from one of his gameplay streams, but I had to remove the actual gameplay because it would have gotten us a flag, so it's just the audio. But just listen to what he says about how, basically he says that you can't criticize him unless you've made a cartoon yourself for any of the cartoons that he's made, or anything that he does in general.
Oh my god. Okay.
Someone says, what do I think of the Oaxis Family Guy meme? Oh, I'm not even going to look at it because it's the question's being asked by Dueling Duelist True. I'm not even going to look at it, and I don't care. Because you know why? Whenever you put yourself out there to do anything, there's always someone that's going to try and bring you down because they've never done anything on their own. And so
okay, what if they have done something on their own? What then? Because I mean, like, that has happened, has it not?
Yeah, that's why I just wish that someone like in the cartoon industry would come out and be like, "Hey, Butch, I can be critical of you because I've actually done something." You know what I mean? But I know that because like the animation industry is like really like tight knit and close, almost for like to the detriment of all of it. That it's, there were some people I told about all this shit who were even reluctant to talk about it because, they didn't want to have a problem for like criticizing Butch Hartman. I was like, holy shit.
Something like that has actually happened, and I can give you an example real quick. Rob Schneider actually, someone wrote like a bad review for one of his films or some shit, and he called him out, by buying ads and calling this guy like, oh, you don't even have any awards as a reviewer or a journalist, so, how does your opinion matter?
Yeah,
and then Roger Ebert stepped in and said, well, I do, and your movie fucking sucks.
Oh, that's awesome. That's fucking great.
Can I bring up something that's kind of unrelated, but sort of related tangentially?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it's fucking hilarious that there are all of these it's pretty much exclusively anti-SJW channels that Sargon did it, that Quartering guy did it, and several others have made these videos complaining that the new She-Ra looks androgynous to them, and it's just so fucking funny to me because, well, I suppose she does, but first of all, one, they don't even entertain the idea that maybe she's flat-chested and looks like a 13-year-old girl would because they're trying to, not pander, but just kind of like get more tweens and young audiences, rather than the original She-Ra who looked hot as hell but looked like she was 32 years old. And just like the whole idea of, oh no, they've ruined She-Ra for me. I mean, like, these people actually ever watched the show? It was like kind of well animated, but it was terrible. Like I like it for nostalgia value because I watched it when I was a kid, but if you watch even 5 minutes of it, it's absolute drivel. So it's hilarious to me that there are all these people that are so concerned about She-Ra and kind of and how they have ruined this property. But anyway, sorry, that's a huge tangent. I had to get that off my chest.
I think when it comes to a lot of the characters on TV shows looking younger these days, it comes to like, you know, because advertisers, for whatever reason, think that, you know, well, in most, I guess there's some weight to it, but kids are more likely to identify with characters that are actually kids or, you know, at least like younger. And so that's why a lot of that stuff happens. But, you know, that's why the new Thundercats is like so like is in that Cal Art style. And I mean, I don't think the She-Ra promo looked as bad as the Thundercats one. But yeah,
I mean, the Thundercats one is like a very specific style. I haven't watched the show. I assume that I mean, I could be wrong. It could be a hunk of shit. I assume the show is going to be better, even though, like you know, that stuff back in the 80s, that was hand drawn. You know, that was hand drawn, and
I like hand drawn animation a lot.
And yeah, of course, it also had sort of like somewhat of a 3D effect, and the like special effects that they put on it were really cool. But that shit to like really get something to look exactly like that really, I mean, like that was like what Ralph Bakshi was doing back in the day, you know, like around that time in the 80s. I think that they used like some what do you call it, rotoscoping with it, and it's just like you know, they have if you look at the cast, they have a pretty excellent voice cast. They have decent writers. DreamWorks is a co-producer. So I just doubt, like it might not look as good as the original, but the idea that we're not going to get better storytelling and jokes and dialogue in general is like, I would just be so surprised if we don't get that. And if we don't, who cares? It's just fucking She-Ra, you know? I mean, it's not like they're ruining I don't know, the Raiders of the Lost Ark for us or something like that, you know? It's She-Ra. They shouldn't give a shit. Sorry.
Yeah.
Rant over.
It's just another thing to be outraged about, I guess. But you know,
I'm outraged by their outrage.
Do something and they want to ask me questions like that, that's one thing. But if someone doesn't do anything and they want to, like, you know, I don't know, criticize, then I have no time for them.
Wow.
No time for them.
He's salty.
Yes,
So,
you're right. Mind Maker. Yeah, Sargon said, he said, I watched Sargon's video. One of his complaints was verbatim that they look childish. He said it's because millennials aspire to act childish instead of mature.
Oh my
and
fucking
adult.
God.
Which is, I mean, this man, like on one hand, one of the few, like, I'm not a Sargon fan by any stretch of the imagination. One thing that I will give him is the man is extremely prolific, and you know, and that's one of the reasons why he's able to be as much of a success as he is. But it causes him sometimes to just like regurgitate these awful arguments. Like I don't even think he thinks things out before he does the majority of his videos. I watched this one video where he was talking about Jeremy Corbyn that he recorded in a hotel room, and he was eating like, I don't know, like Reese's Pieces the entire fucking time or something. And he was making the dumbest points. He actually made the point that because of the fact that Jeremy Corbyn was broadcasting from a place that had enclosed walls, that somehow was an argument against his supposed open border status.
Wait, what?
You know, and I don't even think that Jeremy Corbyn is totally like, let every single person in the world in. But yeah, he'll just make the worst arguments. Every now and then he'll have something that he like, you know, really like kind of thinks through, and I'll probably still disagree with it, but at least the reasoning will be a little bit more well thought through. But yeah, that argument that Mind Maker just brought up is insipidly stupid. I mean, it's very like like old manish. Like these kids today, they're just young whippersnappers.
That's basically how Butch Hartman is.
Yeah, it's really like the dude is like 1 year away from like being the kind of guy who says like, "Get off my lawn, you damn kids," kind of a guy. Anyway, we can move on.
The person that asked that question, whose name will not be mentioned ever by my lips, I just want to tell all people like that, as I get back to safety here, that if you guys can't do it yourselves, you shouldn't criticize anybody else. You really shouldn't.
Okay, so if I buy Tool's new album, whenever the fuck that comes out, if I buy it and it solely consists of fart noises. And burping, am I not allowed to critique it because I've never made an album? Or what? Yeah. What is the deal there? Like, how far do you want to take this?
Make your own album. Marshall Manson could do it because he's made an album, but you can't.
It's a very fucking odd standard to have. And the thing is, like, he has this standard because it deflects any kind of criticism. It's such a dishonest tactic. It's like, oh, make something better yourself then, and then get back to me. Well, why?
I mean, there is something to be said for people like, critics who criticize things that they really, they don't know the finer points of, they should just be upfront about it. If they kind of pose as some sort of authority, then they're full of shit. But but if they're just like, hey, this is my opinion, take it for what it's worth, then fine, it's okay. But I don't know, if you're really trying to pass yourself off as a film critic, and you haven't seen a lot of the classics, and you know nothing about film theory, I don't know. I think there's something to be said for criticizing that. That being said, what's his name? Rob Schneider is a doofus. I mean, he's like an anti-vaxxer, and he believes 9/11 is an inside job. Him and Evan Lefevre would probably get along somewhat well. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, but
most importantly, Rob Schneider's not funny.
By that standard, you would have to make a movie to critique another person's movie. It doesn't. Why would that need to be the case?
Right. I'm not saying that people shouldn't do it.
I'm not saying that you're saying that.
Yeah. I'm just saying that, like for instance, there are a few film critics on YouTube who are incredibly successful, who I think more it's just because they're really loud and they make or either that, or they're like, there's just one guy, I don't even remember his name, but he's just, all he does is just talk like this, and I recommend
Jeremy Johns.
What?
Jeremy Johns.
Yes.
Yeah, Jeremy Johns. I knew you were.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. Like every now and then he'll come up with, like, when I've watched him, he'll come up with like maybe one or two decent jokes inside the span of like a 4-minute period. But like he just, I don't think he like will say like, hey, I'm a very seasoned film critic and I went to film school, and I've watched all of Orson Welles' films and yada yada yada, but still, like, I don't know where I'm going with this.
I feel like we're going way too deep, considering what Butch Hartman just said.
We might be going too deep. See, I'm an actual like film nerd, so like sometimes it does kind of annoy me when like people are kind of held up as what annoys me is that a lot of those people are more influential these days in terms of kind of influencing people's opinions, just because more people pay attention to them on YouTube than actual decent seasoned critics.
It's kind of like charisma is above the actual points they make, so they get all this attention.
Oh yeah, people watch videos for the personalities, not necessarily the content. That's what they get attached to. If you have a good enough personality, then people will flock to you.
It's a sad state of things.
Now, another cartoonist wants to have a problem with me or whatever. That's a different story. But at least somebody who's actually done something, I'll talk to.
Damn, Butch.
Thieves.
Theme songs.
Normally,
You know what's funny? Wait, I want to say one more thing.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
as many things as I've done in my life, like being a father, being a husband, being a
Having some trouble there, Vadim.
you know, a guy who's in his 50s.
The sun keeps changing, and so I'm trying to adjust the blinds properly to maximize good light, and I don't think I'm doing the best job of it. But anyhow, what were you guys saying?
Who's done, or a boss, a guy who's done shows, a guy who's stayed up late at night working really hard to answer questions from people who've never done anything and then they want to criticize. It makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. It's like, really, that's your question? So it's quite amusing, actually.
Yeah, get used to it.
Good
Trolls
luck out.
say
God.
stupid.
This is such a, I don't know, it's just like the smugness. It's like, can you tone it down just a smidgen, please,
That's just
Hartman.
how Butch talks.
I'm actually starting to think that maybe he is descended, perhaps, from a rock with the.
No, he didn't come from a rock, Vadim. He didn't come from a rock.
He's got about the same reasoning abilities as a fucking rock.
They're trying to get
Well,
a rise
that's
out of
my
me
point.
because you never will.
He's kind of repeating himself. Is there like a point I can skip to where like he says something else?
Oh, no, that's the end for this segment.
Okay.
I'll tell you.
You don't get a rise out of me though. Is this game?
I don't know about you guys, and I'm not. You can have your own beliefs out there, but I don't think my great grandfather was a rock.
He was.
Owned!
I was there. I saw it.
Owned!
Yeah.
My point is, my work has touched people's hearts because it has the gospel inside.
He's got the appearance of Charlie Sheen and the voice of a high-pitched trump. It
I
bugs me to no end.
sped this up a little bit because this goes on forever.
Okay.
To tell you the truth, go back for a second. I want to see just the close up on his face. He looks like the slightly more handsome younger brother of Jimmy Dore.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I can kind of. Oh my god. Yeah,
You better watch out. He'll spit you in the face and run off.
Yeah.
I'm not a Jimmy Dore fan, but I'm in the minority on this.
Oh shit.
Alex Jones actually deserved that shit.
I mean, like, Alex Jones is a piece of shit, but I don't think anybody should be spat on.
Well, you know, what he did is that he drank a little bit of water, and then he like, you know, spat out some, like, just gleeked a little bit of spittle out. So it wasn't like total saliva. Okay, that's the first thing. And then second of all, this piece of shit comes walking into a live broadcast during, what was it, the DNC or something?
The Young Turks.
And just, you know, cavalierly walks onto the set with his entire gang of production people and several other co-hosts and creates all this bedlam, and he doesn't expect a little bit of pushback. It was
he expected it. He knew that would happen coming into it. That's why he did it.
Yeah, exactly. And in a way, Jimmy Dore spitting on him kind of gave him more like MO to, or, you know, just a reason to like bitch about it. But at the same time, it's sort of like he was just saying, fuck you. You think you can get away with like just treating us like total shit?
Well,
and
he did.
I at the end of the day, I just think that it's like it's like nothing compared to what they actually did in that circumstance, you know,
Okay,
like
look,
traipsing into a live broadcast and acting like assholes just for a publicity stunt.
See, I see what you're saying. Look, here's just kind of like my deal. I can sympathize with the Young Turks on that, because I'm just kind of like, look, you're trying to do your fucking job and some asshole shows up and he fucking trolls you. That's annoying, I get it. But I don't think that any of that justifies spitting on a person, even if it's mostly water. You just shouldn't fucking do that.
I don't know. I just don't think it's like, at the end of the day, it's not the word. Like, if he had punched him, we'd be talking about something else, you know. Even if he had like hucked a loogie and spat that, I would have, you know, more problem with it. But it was just like a little bit of Evian water that he that he had in his mouth for 2 seconds and then spat out. And you know what? It was effective. Like he left after that. Like he was that shit would have gone on way longer if Dore didn't do that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a huge Jimmy Dore fan. I like I actually think that he's unlike a lot of people, I don't loathe TYT, but he is someone who like I mean, I'm not into the whole Bernie or bust thing. Like, I loved Bernie, but like the whole kind of like, since we don't have Bernie, let's not take any, you know, the
Sure.
other less favorable option, Hillary Clinton. So yeah, and he says bullshit left and right. So it's not like I'm trying to white knight for the guy.
No.
But yeah, I get what you're saying, though. I mean, it's certainly not what.
And look, here's my thing too. Like,
yeah.
you know, you have no fucking idea what has been in Jimmy Dore's mouth. Like, that's the thing too.
I doubt he was like sucking off Bernie Sanders minutes.
Yeah, maybe he sucked some people to get where he was. I mean, like, you don't know.
But I mean, it's true. He could have been eating, you know, perhaps a spring roll earlier. But like, I just, at the end of the day, I think that there's, first of all, there should have been some security there to get them the fuck away. That really should have been it. I can understand how maybe there wouldn't be, because there's so much going on at an event like that. But I mean, like, imagine how the fucking InfoWars would act if some strangers, like a group of strangers, just like traipsed in. And you know what? Another thing is like, okay, like, you guys remember a few months ago, and I actually am not on their side, but some dumb Antifa kids interrupted Sargon of Akkad having a
oh yeah, at the King's College or whatever.
Yeah, with somebody from the Cato Institute, and they basically were just like, woo, blah. You know, they didn't really do it. Somebody ended up getting punched, but it was someone from the audience who punched that person. Yeah, it all happened very quickly. Those people were doofuses. Like that like the second that they came in, you could see like Sargon's eyes just going like ka-ching, like, you know, he knew, like, oh, this is gonna make me some money. So they're doing exactly what Sargon and like, you know, his pals want them to do.
Exactly.
But you know, like, they criticize the hell out of those people, and then they praise like fucking InfoWars for doing it to TY, like the equivalent to TYT in like a live broadcast, which is way different than a like speech that is going on at like a college that like probably only 20 people were attending at the time. So I don't know. I feel like there's a bit of hypocrisy there.
I mean, like, look, my deal is just kind of like on the when it comes to hygiene. I mean, like, you know, if somebody spits on you, you don't know if they have something. You might want to get checked. I mean, like, if Jimmy Dore spat on me,
which is why it technically, I think, does like someone told me that it technically is considered assault to spit on someone.
It is.
Yeah. Still, it's sort of like, you know, everything that they did was so fucking underhanded that I think at a certain point, it's just like, you know, kind of giving them a dose of their own medicine. And again, once that happened, Alex Jones is just like, all right, okay, let's get the fuck out of here, you know? So it worked. It worked to get that pack of assholes out of there. And at the end of the day, it's not like I am like, go Jimmy Dore for having done that. And it is sort of like in bad taste. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. It's Alex Jones, one of the most reprehensible hunks of shit in the universe, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, like maybe there are serial killers that I would put like above him in the hierarchy of
holy shit, really?
But well, yeah. Ted Bundy and I don't know, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey fucking Dahmer.
Yeah. I'm saying they're worse than Alex Jones.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, oh, you know, they're like above him morally or some shit.
No. Although in some ways, perhaps that could be one could argue that if you divorce them from their horrible actions. But no, I don't really mean that. But yeah, fucking, he's a hunk of human excrement, and he came in and he just like did it for a PR stunt, and that in itself is like playing dirty. That's being like really low down, and you're at that point, it's sort of like the gloves are off, you know, and like if that had been in a like an unsupervised environment where there were no like cameras and whatnot, somebody probably would have gotten knocked the fuck out, you know? I mean, like, and I would not like condone that either, but they were acting in such a way that, in my opinion, that like they were asking for it. They were asking for something, and it's like, what can they do? You know?
But let me ask you this:
like,
if Alex Jones had retaliated by punching Jimmy Dore in the fucking face, would that be okay? Because technically, Jimmy Dore initiated assault, or like the physical confrontation that could have ensued.
Technically, yeah, I suppose. Like you know, in a way, I suppose I could see like Alex Jones doing that and having like a like under the law an out by saying that. But I still think it's sort of like a matter of like, I don't know. It's like if I'm in a public place and someone comes up to like a gang of people and one of them is a loudmouth like Alex Jones, comes up to us and like is just yelling at us and getting in our face and interrupting it is, you know, whatever it is that we're doing at the time. And I mean, like I just think that there's like what else is there? Like they yelling at them didn't work, and yelling at them was specifically what they wanted. They wanted more. They wanted them to like, you know, react. I mean, really, probably the best thing for them to do would just be. But the thing is they were in the middle of a live broadcast, so they couldn't really do this. But like maybe the best thing for them to do would have been just like, okay, hey, everybody, it's the Alex Jones show, and just completely disengage so that they, you know, that they didn't like give him any sort of like pushback, and you know but even that would have been used. You know, they had no like there was no way for them to win the situation once they came in and did that, and it was such like a fucking like dirty like, you know, thing to do to begin with, such a like an underhanded tactic that at the end of the day I'm just like, okay, who gives a fuck if he spat a little bit of Evian water that was in his mouth for 2.5 seconds.
If I could give a take on the whole spitting thing real fast.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like a.
I just don't want to go on about this forever, so I just want to say.
Yeah, sorry if I've kind of, you know.
It's all right. It's fine. One thing I'll say is I don't think he should have done it, and the reason why I don't think he should have done it is because I just think that it's fuel for people who don't like him and people on the right to say that this, you know, liberals or people on the left are a certain way. So.
I guess we all just have different opinions on the snake spitting his venom, so we'll just return to this video.
Yeah, we'll return to this. But
I see what you're saying,
I'll say this though. I don't have a problem with Jimmy Dore. We had him on the Drunken Peasants, and we you know we'd be happy to have him on again. We probably will. He was a good, interesting guest. But Ben asked him about the spitting thing, and he kind of dodged it, which kind of made me disappointed. I hope someday that he admits that was perhaps not the smartest thing to do, even if, you know, just for the fact that it did not make the left look good, you know, because.
I agree that I agree that it did not make them look good, but it's still sort of like it's like I understand how in the heat of the moment something like that would occur, and at the end of the day, I'm just not like going to like be that mad at Jimmy Dore for having done it.
I could agree with that. I can
and
agree
this
with that
person
sentiment.
who says that they successfully trolled the left, that's kind of bullshit. They came on and they made like ridiculous statement. I mean, like how were they successful? In what way? Because of the fact that they got Jimmy Dore to spit on Alex Jones? I don't think so. I think that I think you'd have to look at it from the point of view of someone who already like totally hates both TYT and you know, kind of like similar people, in order to look at that as a successful trolling of the left.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but unfortunately there are a lot of people who are like that. Yeah. But, you know, that's just something you gotta deal with.
I guess we'll get back to this video.
I know that this is, this is a joke. Vadim is calling for the genocide of Antifa? Yelling and interrupting is all that. What?
Why would you do that?
Can you explain yourself a little more, Mind Maker? I mean, maybe that's a troll comment.
Why don't you explain yourself, Vadim? Come on.
Oh yeah, Vadim, come on.
What's going on?
Yeah, those are some dubious.
Guys, I just think we should genocide the Antifa. That's just my point of view. Okay,
there's a sound clip right there.
Well, I would not be shedding any tears.
And it's exciting. My point is, my work has touched people's hearts because it has the gospel inside of it. It's like a Trojan horse. I have Christ inside of me, and Christ is inside my shows. You can never hear about Christ in my show, but you feel Him.
So this is kind of like the Christian version of what what's his name? The Vigilant Christian thinks the world is like. Like, you know, it's like you watch a show and you don't know, but there's but you watch a show, you don't know, but there's like a secret kind of structure behind it, or some kind of message that is supposed to be conveyed.
I totally see God and Danny Phantom, a show about ghosts fighting each other.
I've never been religious, and I used to watch a lot of Fairly Odd Parents, so I guess mission failed. I don't know.
Yep.
This is my other show, Tough Puppy. It's about an idiot secret agent dog. It's very funny.
No, it's not.
The was invented. And there were some cool shows on TV when I grew up. These are some examples. Who remembers all this stuff? Yeah. Right? And I'm not saying all of it was perfect. It wasn't perfect. But it was pretty safe. It was pretty awesome. And I can sit in front of the TV with my family and I can enjoy a night of entertainment. I can't do that anymore.
What?
American culture was relatively strong. People love their country.
Yeah, pause it for a second. Basically, Butch believes that, like, TV has gotten so degenerate that there's nothing that families can sit down and watch with each other anymore, because even the content, like he gives the example of American Idol, even though that's something that you can watch with it, the commercials in between are so threatening that Butch says that he has to turn off the commercials when he's watching with his family, or else, you know.
What a boring movie night, or TV night, whatever.
I know.
I mean, like, how about this? How about, like, you just prepare your kids for the society they're gonna fit into? And you just explain this shit to them. I mean, like...
No, because Butch wants to change society so that, you know, it's more like it used to be.
Well,
so instead
it's ridiculous because, you know, that there's plenty of family-friendly programming out there, and then you've got things like Pure Flix. And,
he'll talk about why. He'll talk about why that's not valid.
Oh, did I miss that point? Yeah.
He'll talk about that at some point. Basically, he says that, you know, even though Netflix and shit, it has kids sections, you know, Netflix is tainted because, like, they have so much, you know, explicit content on there.
No, I'm talking about Pure Flix though. Pure Flix is different from Netflix. Pure Flix is an exclusively a Christian version of Netflix.
Yeah, he talks about Christian networks too. Watch, you'll see. Basically, what his argument is that he doesn't want to run a network that's transparently Christian because he wants to reach the secular people and try to convert them.
Oh, okay. So that he wants to basically like kind of covertly, basically lie about.
And he's gonna get to this like just.
That's so underhanded.
You can go forward a little bit in the video because the best part comes like towards the end, but yeah, just skip ahead like a few minutes, and then we'll be able to wrap this up.
Like 5 minutes. Like there.
I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll tell you what.
To Mind Maker, who said, "Nah, I just got the sense that you're saying that the assault was justified because they had no other way of dealing with the yelling and interrupting." Like in one sense, they really didn't have any way to deal with it, but that's not really it. I just feel like what he did was, I don't think it compares in underhandedness to what they did in general.
Swag.
So that's that, and I don't want to overtalk this. We should move on, but I'm just letting him know what I think, that it wasn't the right thing to do necessarily, but I don't think it's anything compared.
It was like a heat in the moment kind of
storming
thing,
and being assholes in a live fucking broadcast.
I don't really hold it against the guy, like I said. So you know,
I mean, I do kind of, but I also understand why that happened. But anyway, like, is this good as far as time goes?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We'll be able to wrap it up nicely here.
So here's what we're gonna have. You guys ready for this?
Y'all ready for this?
Oaxis is gonna have dramas. We're gonna have
it's gonna have dramas.
We're gonna have reality shows. We're going to have gaming, which is gigantically huge right now. Go on the Twitch.
He wants to do family-friendly gaming, basically.
Oh no.
Like with like Twitch, but family-friendly and like clean cut.
So he's gonna play Minecraft and just avoid cussing or what?
Yeah, I don't know, because I'm interested to see how that works out, if it even manifests to be anything at all.
What it is, find out what it is. It's amazing. All the pressure is off me because God is using my gift because it's His gift. Like Karen said today, this is His problem now. God's got to work this out. And I must tell you, since I've talked to Lance about this has gone so fast and so quick, it has been effortless. Because I gave it all to Him.
He's basically saying that this is going to be a success because he gave it all to God, even though he asked his followers to donate money to kickstart this. So it's actually his followers that got this on board, but he's crediting it all to God.
I mean, isn't that like always the case? You know, like,
yeah, it is. But
when your favorite football team wins, you're like, thank you, God. It's like,
because,
how about the team, or how about anybody who, you know?
Because he wasn't saying this openly; he was saying it behind closed doors. So it's even worse, you know. People.
So this is like a private conference kind of deal going on.
Yeah. This was an unearthed video. I'm one of the few people who have this video.
To fit our model. We need to do this in order to start airing something. I've got to start airing some programming. It's going to look familiar. You guys may have
actually
seen
just skip ahead a little bit more.
Okay, hold on.
Bit more.
Like.
Right here. There we go. Perfect.
But I don't think my great-great-grandfather was.
I'm kidding. But in 1962, Julianne was born. But something else very important happened in this country.
Watch this.
And that was, you know what that was?
Yes, that's when they took prayer out of schools.
They took prayer out of schools because a woman named Madeline Murray O'Hare.
So he's dishonest about this too. Okay, let me just refute this quickly. You are allowed to pray in school. You just cannot force students to pray.
Who was an atheist at the time. She's passed away since.
She's still an atheist.
But she's an atheist, and she really pushed to get the Bible taken out of school. And before that, when you went to school in the 50s, 40s, 30s, and even in the very early 60s, there was prayer in school.
Right.
And people think, oh, prayer in school, wouldn't that hurt the kids? Doesn't that influence the kids in a negative way?
Well, let's look. Let's see what you think, because I've got a list of stats here. List of stats.
Didn't have to be
that guy's voice.
I that point because it's just like I slowed down at that point because he does the one thing that conservative YouTubers always do, where it's like, yeah, I've got a list of stats here. I've got a list of stats, and like,
dude, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that joke by Bill Burr. It's like, you know, you used to argue with people, and you know, you just kind of used your brain to come up with the best argument. But now you just go to imright.com and you find some stats and just throw that out.
Yeah, look at the stats though. The stats say this, so it's like, yeah, it's not like. Because he basically says that because like suicide and like depression has gone up in teenagers in recent years, that must be because, you know, Christianity isn't being embraced like it is anymore. Well, even though there's tons of possible factors that could be contributing to the youth and, you know, the next generation.
Like, you know what else has gone up? The fucking population. So
exactly.
Course, you know, I really doubt that when he's citing those statistics that it's, you know, that it's gone up that much in terms of per capita. It's possible that that's the case, but my guess is that it's just a population growth thing.
I mean, if it was per capita, he would have just shown that number instead.
Yeah.
Anyway, like this kind of reminds me of the anti-gay argument you used to hear a lot, you know, prior to gay marriage being legalized in the U.S. It's like our rights are being being taken away by these people being given rights. It's like that's not how it works. Rights are not like this finite thing that only a certain amount of people can have.
I do have to say that I strongly believe that within the next few years, we're going to, some states will re-legalize mandatory prayer in schools. There,
no.
With no, I definitely believe it with the SCOTUS judges that we have right now, and
maybe.
and there are plenty of bills that are that certain states have like been working on to reinstate it and stuff like that. And you know, they kind of use the term religious liberty and stuff like that in order to like bring things through. And I do think we're going to see. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that like we're going to have an America where across the board in all 50 states it's mandatory, but in, you know, you're like, I don't know, fucking places like Kansas and shit like that. Like, I think
you're talking about places where atheist kids are basically picked on by teachers and the school faculty for not being religious. That actually happens quite often. So of course these places are going to be fine with this. You know, they want this. This is something that they've been wanting for a very long fucking time. And the dishonesty is the thing that gets to me. It's like, if you want to be a piece of shit, just tell me you're a piece of shit. Don't fucking masquerade it with liberty and freedom, because that's not what it is. You're taking away these kids' rights to express themselves, religious or not. Leave them the fuck alone.
It should be up to the decision of the kids to, you know, decide if they want to be religious or not.
I mean, religious liberty is... It's just a code word for special rights, really. You know, I mean,
exactly.
It's ways for them to like sidestep the like discrimination laws.
Like the church is not having to pay taxes.
What's that?
Like the church is not having to pay taxes that everyone's supposed to fucking pay to make the country fucking run.
Yeah, and simultaneously, they're probably all be getting an amendment which will allow them to just. You know, I mean, they already pretty much like say, hey, vote Republican, but now they can really like stump for political candidates, and it's really scary and unfair. My opinion, like it's just it's fucked up. I really do, and I think because of this, you know, and a lot of people don't realize this. But the evangelicals really won. I mean, there are a whole list of reasons why Trump won the election. But in terms of voting blocks, the evangelicals came out for him. They didn't come out like in numbers at the highest rates, but in terms of percentage-wise of the actual vote, they came out in higher numbers than any other election, any other president before. And I think that they are going to come out in record numbers in this next election because they're getting so many things that they want to see from you know, from Trump. They, you know, they're pleased with the SCOTUS judges. They're pleased with his attempts to do things like, you know, things like the transgender ban and stuff like that.
The Democrats are going to have a hard time going into 2020. They're going to have to find someone that really speaks to people. Honestly. They're
not going to do that. They're going to push Hillary again.
They're not
going to push Hillary.
They're going to do it.
That. They may pick someone who's just as bland and is basically like a Hillary facsimile. You know, the best option I still think would be Bernie, even though that he's old.
I agree.
But
I'd vote for Bernie.
You know, I mean, he's definitely. I think he's still capable of energizing voters, and you know, in poll after poll, he's shown to be the most well-liked politician out there on both sides of the aisle. So, yeah, he definitely deserves it, but who knows?
The way the Democrats fucked up was by pushing Hillary instead of Bernie. Because, I mean, like, just compare, like, her audiences. During Hillary's speeches, like, not a lot of people showed up. She got big fucking venues, and not a lot of people showed up. And when it came to Bernie, like, people were lined up.
Yeah, because he got people enthusiastic.
I think there were a lot of factors that went into it. She was a like not an excellent candidate. There was all this baggage that was attached to her due to Bill Clinton. The DNC stuff totally fucked shit up, and she didn't really like have a platform. Her platform was basically, "Hey, I'm the one that's not Trump," and
yeah, vote for me. Get a woman in the White House.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of that, and that was a little sending. You know, I'll admit that that's definitely like identity politics that I think is bullshit.
I hate that.
You know, I mean, I'm not completely against kind of feminism in general, but that was like just pandering to.
It was disingenuous.
It was very disingenuous, and so there was that. But I do think that a big reason why they lost, and you got to remember, they only lost by 40,000 votes in one state. If they had won that state, they would have, won the election. And I think a big reason why this occurred, an aspect of it, I'm not saying it is the most prominent reason, right, but you basically have, and this is not just reflected in YouTube, you can see it on Fox News, you can see it on a lot of other right-leaning media groups. Basically this false equivalency between the fringe of the left, like the craziest. I hate this word, this term these days, because it's become SJWs. People. The reason why I hate it is because it's lost all meaning most of the time. When people say it, they just mean like people that are to the left of me. But basically, this whole argument was made that that the Democrats equal these fringe SJWs, and that they have something in common with like Antifa and shit, and a lot of YouTubers, a lot of very popular YouTubers, and I'm not just talking about your Sargons and whatnot and your Paul Joseph Watsons, but a lot of them really fed into that narrative, and those people are tastemakers, and eventually Fox picked up on it, and even Trump, the Trump campaign themselves were using this rhetoric to kind of just poison the well when it came to who the Democratic politicians were. So I think that had a lot to do with the massive loss that the Democrats suffered, not just Hillary, but just like across the board.
I mean, the fact that Trump won shows that there were like a lot of big fucking factors at play. So, we could go on and list off all the reasons, but, to summarize, they picked the wrong candidate to push.
Agreed. Let's let's play the last few moments of this video.
There was no. Are you talking about the Democrat?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Agreed.
So we have about a minute left of this video.
All right.
Yes. Let's watch this and wrap it up.
After this, I think we're gonna wrap up the show. We've been live for longer than we've ever been, I think.
Yeah, much longer than usual, but it's been fun. So.
Yeah.
Accountable to something. Once people took God out of school, and kids were taught that, oh, there is no God, you're sort of on your own, just go out there and do what you want.
What class is he referring to?
I don't know. He probably he's pretty old, so he hasn't been to school for a long time. Maybe he went to a Catholic school or something like that. I don't know if he's a Catholic.
I know this is anecdotal, but I'm in Sweden, so the schools I went to, they were secular. They were dog shit schools, but they were secular nonetheless.
They're supposed to be secular here too.
I was never told by a teacher I never had a teacher walk up to me like, Mark, there's no God.
Oh yeah, no.
Somebody asked, can we really expect Bernie to live another 6 years? I could be wrong, but
he's only 3 years older than Trump. He's only 3 years older than Trump.
Yeah, he's only 3 years older than Trump. I think even when he runs, I could be wrong about this, but I think even if he makes a run in 2020, he'll still be younger than Reagan was when he ran. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, the guy has a lot of vitality right now. If you see that, maybe something could happen in between that would suddenly, make him fucking, like an invalid, but a heart attack or something. But yeah, I mean, we don't even. This is a horrible thing to say, we don't even really need him to live another 6 years. We would need him to live another 2 years. And then once he gets into office, if something horrible were to happen, he would have a decent successor. I assume he would choose someone who is up to the task as his vice president. So
hopefully not, someone just to appease the other regular Democrats, but.
Yeah, I don't think he would do that. Like, he's not someone to make compromises. I think the like to the left he'd go is someone like Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, he'd probably go with Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah,
most definitely pick Elizabeth Warren. But yeah,
I guess we'll see.
Who I like. I mean, she's every now and then there like ways that she kind of I don't know, kind of agrees with the right that I myself, I'm not like in total lockstep with her, but she's 10 times better than the 90% of Democrats out there. And she has like Bernie, she's one of the few politicians out there who has genuine integrity and like strength of character. Like, I mean, if you don't see it, maybe you don't, but that's my take on her.
All right.
Seems like it's kind of been a free-for-all since then. What were you going to say?
Well, no, I was going to say is that, think about it. What's in a prayer? I mean, I know that there are people that have different kind of prayers. I mean, I'm talking about a Christian praying,
Yeah.
First of all, protection of the children, bringing knowledge to the forefront of their minds. That's the kind of prayer that I'm thinking about. Now, what could be harmful about that?
Well,
who would be against something like that?
Is she saying that kids praying puts knowledge in the forefront, or whatever is she talking specifically about prayer?
She's saying that she prays for kids to have knowledge in the forefront of their mind and be safe.
Yeah, she's basically attempting to make prayer look like a necessity for kids.
Yeah,
right.
Because why would you not pray?
Yeah, it's like, why not? It's good. It's like, how about you separate education from superstition?
Yeah.
I got like a little fun story from like my few like kind of like defining moments. Well, as I was a child, where I just incrementally realized what bullshit religion was. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm not one of these people that thinks I deserve like a special hat on the pat on the head for realizing that that Christianity is bullshit. But I used to go to this summer camp in Canada, and I would have to go to these religious sermons every Sunday, and I couldn't even fucking understand what they were saying because the guy was talking in French. This is French Canada, right? And so like it was boring as hell, and it was in like like an outdoor tennis court, and basically my friends. I would just decapitate ants the entire time, which is horrible. I regret having done it, but that's the sort of like horrible thing that kids do. And not that this is what I wanted to mention, but I always had this thought like, this cannot be, if a God exists, this cannot be the way in which he this right here has nothing to do with him, because there's no way that if God exists, he would have anything to do with something this boring. But really the real reason why I brought this up is that there was this one moment where like the dude who would do the sermons, he had some like sort of like get up with like sort of like a stupid Pope looking hat and just and just the frocks with like weird like patches on them and stuff, and he looked like your standard Catholic weirdo. And then one day before the sermon, I saw this guy ride in on a motorcycle, and he was wearing an AC/DC t-shirt. Wow. And he had all these fucking tattoos and like he had a backpack on that he had his like his outfit on in, and I knew, like, I didn't even know anything about AC/DC at the time, But I just knew, like, looking at this guy, like, this guy is totally full of shit. This guy is basically like a clown that you would hire at a kid's party, you know? He's just playing the role of this sanctimonious asshole. And eventually, like, I protest. I had a real problem with it. I kept on, like, telling the counselors, like, this is not cool that I'm made to go to this. And finally, they, like, just gave in and they made it optional. But yeah, that was one of the first things that, like, really clued me into, like, what bullshit Christianity in general was. So yeah, fun fact, fun story.
Yeah, see, now I never had anything like that. So listening to these kind of stories, for me, it's interesting because, like, you know, my mom's I don't know if she still is, but when I was a kid, she was a devout Christian. But, you know, like, she never pushed it on me. She was just kind of like, you know, God loves you, and that was it. So, you know, when I told her, like, oh, I don't believe in that, she's like, okay, well, you know, you're still my son, I love you. That'd be fucking funny. But no, I mean, like, she was like, you know what, if there is a God, I'm sure, you know, he's fine with you anyway. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's like, those are the sorts of expression of, if only every Christian was like that, you know? If Christians were not, like, trying to assert their laws or assert their bullshit into law and things like that, I wouldn't really, you know, kind of bother with it, you know, like CC does his own thing, but I kind of have a little bit of a, you know, my 2 cents added into CC videos. And like, really, that's the reason why I created the channel. Some people, every now and then, people think that I created the channel just to, like, be like, ha ha, you're pwned, you know, Christians. And in a way, it is fun to kind of make fun of some of these people. But it's the overall influence that they have in society and politics that really drives me to kind of care about it, you know?
Yeah.
The people.
I'm sorry, like, we went from a deep topic to this, but I mean, like, we have to get through it. So
Against something like
this is the last few
want God taken out of school and taken out of public places, like off of our money. We want to take God off of our money. We want to take God off of our public.
Why should God be on the money anyway? Like, I've never heard an argument for why he should be on the dollar bill.
Building. We want to take God off of things in our country. When this country was started with Judeo-Christian values, the people that want to take that off are the people that don't want to believe that they have to be accountable to anything. Because if you're not accountable to anything, you can do whatever you want.
Right. I don't know about you guys, and I'm not using that, but I don't think
you just love that clip, don't you?
I just love it when he starts talking like he's, you know, like a, you know, those clips where like somebody wants to hide their identity and their and they have like a Antifa mask on looking thing. That's just what his voice all of a sudden sounds like when you slow him down.
But I don't know about you guys, but, you know, my great grandpappy certainly didn't come from Iraq.
I mean, like, the thing that bothers me that a lot of people, including I think Steve Harvey, said is that, you know, if you're not religious, then, you know, you have no objective morals. You don't have any guidance. It's like, well, I mean,
I mean, even fucking Jordan Peterson basically says that. You know, like that debate that he had with Matt Dillahunty was so telling about a lot of his thoughts. And the funny thing is that, like, you know, the way that he kind of pivots around that is that he, and it's so goddamn condescending, is that he just acts like, well, no, you actually do believe in God, you just don't realize it. And yet it makes no fucking sense, because the guy, as far as I can tell, I recently realized this, like, he doesn't really believe in a, like, total, like, you know, biblical, like he thinks the Bible is important and he likes Jesus and everything, but he doesn't really strictly believe in the biblical version of God. He's just, I think he's a very confused man who at one point was like actually religious in a Christian sense, then lost that aspect of his religion and is trying so much, usually by employing like all of this like nonsense gobbledygook speech in order to like justify the existence of some sort of God.
Yeah, he's grasping at straws to try to make it make sense. I mean, like, it's kind of like when Christians say that, you know, you bring up a Bible quote and you're just kind of like, okay, this either is something really fucked up or it contradicts something else in the Bible. And they immediately go towards like, oh, no, it actually, this is like symbolism for this thing. And it, you know, they offer some convoluted fucking bullshit explanation for it. It's like, you know, you have to jump through all of these hoops to make this make sense. And if you do that, is it really even true in the first place?
And you know, another thing about Jordan Peterson that a lot of people haven't really talked about is that, you know, he talks about how he thinks that the mythology behind Christianity, it needs to be preserved, and that you know, that there are all these important teaching mechanisms or something like that. I don't know what words he would use. But he thinks that Christ is a great example, and in certain ways, yeah. If you look at the, like, you know, do unto others and all of that, there are certain things that are fine. But then there are certain aspects of him that if you think about it, it's really fucking troubling. I mean, the idea that he had to be crucified in order to supposedly relieve us of our sins is a really gruesome and just like fucked up idea. The idea that, like, you know, that if you don't embrace him, that you're going to burn, just also really that fucks with people's minds. And it's just like I do think as much as I'm fine with people who are into Jesus, who are not cramming it down our throats, at the end of the day, I think it fucks with their brains more than it helps them. There's some, maybe I'm going on too long about this, but there is some like data to suggest that some level of belief in a God can be somewhat beneficial to people. But then also there are people who counter that by saying that one of the reasons why that is that like the Christians actually have like a community, therefore they have like more of a friendship unit than people who are not. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm kind of going in all place here, but my point is that Jordan Peterson is really overrated and kind of a schmuck. I don't think he's a total idiot. Like, he's certainly much more intelligent than the majority of Christian advocates out there. But man, the guy's kind of embarrassing when he starts talking about Jesus and stuff.
I think with that we'll call this an episode.
Yeah. Before we do, the poll, GTA won 3-1. So there you go.
Really?
Now you know.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll get some votes after.
I agree with Sharjian to a strong degree that a lot of JP's motivation is money motivated. I mean, allow me to say one more thing. A lot of people don't realize this. A lot of people still think that the issue that shot him to fame, Bill C-16, the Canadian bill that supposedly was going to jail people for misgendering people and force people to use pronouns, he was 100% incorrect about that. And anyone who is skeptical of what I'm saying right now, Google Canadian Bar Association and C-16. Take a look at what they say. They specifically address what Jordan Peterson had to say about this. This is the Canadian Bar Association, okay? There's 36,000 lawyers make up this association, and they're far more of a, I mean, they are the authority when it comes to Canadian law, and they themselves say, no, this is an absolute misinterpretation of this bill. So sorry if I'm kind of going on once again a little bit of a.
It is interesting.
It really pisses me off that guy got like just incredibly famous off of this thing that he completely got wrong, and then in his 12 rules for life. One of his rules is never lie, or it's something like always tell the truth, or at least don't lie. And at this point, I think he must know that his interpretation of it is not correct.
And you know what? That's actually funny that you bring that up, because oftentimes, I'm sorry to interject, but I just want to point out that
go for it. I've been talking a lot.
A lot of times when people try to refute Jordan Peterson's arguments, what you'll see in the comment section or like in the live chat or anywhere else is that people will claim that you are misunderstanding him, or that you're falsely representing what he's saying.
Yeah.
But that's the very fucking thing that shot him to the top. I just find that really interesting.
Yeah, no, he does that all the time. And there was that famous interview with that British woman, and she did not do a spectacular job. She made the mistake of what she kept on doing was what he often does to other people. She kept on saying, like presupposing what it was that he was saying, and basically straw manning him and saying, so you're saying such and such, and it was easy for him to say, no, that's not what I'm saying, and it's very dishonest of you to misrepresent me that way. Whereas if you look at and Matt Dillahunty made a follow-up where he talks about this. It's worth watching, where he talks about the discussion he had with Jordan Peterson, and he points out just how ironic it is that that Jordan Peterson often blames people for doing that to him, and he was doing that to Matt Dillahunty left and right in that conversation, and Matt Dillahunty didn't do that to him once.
Well, with that said, I think we're going to wrap this up. We've been live for about 2 hours, so thank you all for watching. Thank you, Vadim, for being on.
Yeah, thanks. It was fun. And,
good night, everyone.
And I'm sorry if I made... Adam just said blame Vadim for making DP late. I'm sorry, DP. I didn't realize My bad.
All right, well, fair enough.
Take it easy, everyone. Thanks for everyone who views.
Peace out.